Okay, well, first of all, clear a couple of things out. There have been reports coming out that there's still a bit of mistrust in the air between Shane Watson and the management and the captain and so on. Could you just clear up exactly what the situation is there?
Yeah, no, look, absolutely not. I can categorically say that that's not the case, and it was irrelevant how we got to hear about the David Warner incident. It had to be elevated to us. We elevated it onto Cricket Australia, and the right outcomes been done. So no, totally false.
No issues at all between Shane Watson and the management at all then?
Not at the moment, no.
That issue has kept coming up. It keeps coming up at all. How detrimental has it been in terms of your performances, your preparation, and so on in this Champions Trophy?
Look, we've tried to focus on our cricket. We're all here to concentrate on the cricket. Cricket is first and foremost in all the players and all our support staff mind, and I'd be really disappointed if it wasn't. So we're cracking on. We're letting all the hype around that subside, and we're cracking on because we've got a game of cricket to win on Monday.
We've seen David here today. He's doing his own thing. He's keeping his eye and so on. Is it possible for him to be part of the group, part of the squad, when he's not going to be involved in actual match cricket between now and the beginning of the Ashes?
No, we haven't got any option with that. We've got to give David the best possible chance, the best possible preparation to be ready for the first Test match if we select him. He comes down early. We get our work done with him. He's now gone from the white ball to the red ball, so he's working daily on that, and I think it's right. As I say, we've got to really service our player to make sure we've got him ready to go come the Ashes.
When that first Test comes round, he won't have played any competitive cricket between now and then. Would it be a risk to stick him in for that first Test?
Probably, hypothetically, yes, because he wouldn't have had any cricket. He would have had a lot of training, mind you, but no cricket. We've got plans to give him some centre wicket practice, etc. But yeah, it would be, and I guess it's a real opportunity for the other batsmen in the squad to stand up in the first two practice games, because if they do that, they've got a real good chance of starting that first Test match.
Is it unlikely that we'll see him in that first Test, do you think?
That's still hypothetical. Who knows what'll happen down the line. But we just got to keep him going and keep him ready. In case anything happens, we've got to have him best prepared to go, and then we'll sit down and select when the time comes.
And David himself, we saw him in the press conference. How's he been? Has he taken it all aboard and moved on? Has he been able to put it behind him now and just concentrate on what he has to do?
Yeah, look, I certainly think he has. He's learned a big lesson. He'll a lesson that will hopefully work in the right way for him. And we've all put it behind us now. The squad is totally focused on the cricket, and we all are. That's what we're here for. We're here to have a big English summer, and nothing will deter us from that.
We've seen your captain, your Test captain, running around the outfield briefly before the rain came today. He seems to be moving okay. How is he?
Yeah, moving okay. We're taking it a day at a time with Pup at the moment. Indications are good, but we'll see how that all unfolds in the next couple of days.
I know you've got to go down and practice. You'd like to be getting out into the middle there. How concerning is it for you ahead of that game in a couple of days' time to see the way the weather here is at the Oval today?
It's disappointing, it definitely is. But we've trained well. We had a really good session yesterday. The boys have trained well throughout the tour. I think against New Zealand we played a nice brand of cricket. We're starting to come into our own just a little bit. So it's disappointing, but it's not a catastrophe, because I know the preparation is fine, and I know the boys have put the time in.
How important is this game against Sri Lanka? Effectively, we're coming into these are quarterfinals now, but not just in terms of staying in the ICC Champions Trophy, but also going ahead to this Ashes summer. How important is this game on Monday?
Look, every game of cricket the Australian cricket team plays is important. Every time we go on the field, we've got an obligation to perform. We've got a responsibility to a lot of stakeholders and fans, and the boys never shirk that responsibility. So every time they walk out on the ground for Australia, we want to win and we want to put on a good show.
What's the key to this game against Sri Lanka? We saw the way they chased down quite easily a big total against England the other day. Is it about containing those dangerous opening batsmen that knocked off those runs so comfortably?
Look, it is. You talk about the big three. In the batting, Dilshan, Jawadina, Sangakkara. You talk about Malinga with the ball, but Sri Lanka have built up a really nice unit. They've they've got some good players in all different areas in their team now who scrap and scrap hard. So we know we've got to be really on our money. We know we can't obviously take anybody lightly. We've got to again prepare the best we can and come out and put in a performance that hopefully takes us to a semi-final.
Of course, we keeping a keen eye on what goes on in the other game in the group as well.
Yeah, look, we will. I just hope that that rain doesn't play a significant part in the end of this Champions Trophy, because it's been a real good competition so far, and it'd be a shame if we had 2 games rained out, in a competition.
Do you think anything can be done about that? We saw West Indies go out yesterday in perhaps disappointing circumstances as well, and if you were to go out in circumstances where you had 2 of your games incomplete, would you like to think that they perhaps look at some sort of way they could work around that?
Oh, look, I'm not sure how you do it. It serves us right. We should have won our first game.
Mickey, can you just talk us through the centre wicket stuff you were talking about with Dave? How would you sort of, how would that work? And the idea being just to give him a bit of sort of match luck.
Yeah, look. As I said, we've got a responsibility to get him right and prepare him in the best way possible. So a centre wicket is the only way we can almost replicate match conditions. So that's what we'll be trying to do while the boys are playing against Somerset and Worcestershire. We'll endeavour to find a place where we can give Dave some centre wicket practice as well.
How's Mitchell Starc going? Mickey sort of got that first game under his belt and then didn't play the second, but coming back from injury, how's he?
Mitch is getting better and better all the time. I was really impressed with him yesterday. He was a little bit tentative coming, and that's totally understandable. He's just come off an operation, but he's getting better and better, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from Mitchell Starc at the minute.
Yeah. And how do you prepare for Malinga? I suppose such a unique bowler and in such good form.
Yeah, look, he is. I mean, he's a phenomenon, probably best death bowler in world cricket without a doubt at the moment. We're very fortunate. We've actually played Sri Lanka a lot over the last sort of 15 months. We've had 2 one-day series against them. So all our players have faced quite a bit of Malinga, and obviously we'll have our plans come the game. We'll sit down, we'll discuss it, we'll talk about it.
You said you were coming into your own in that New Zealand match. Are you pretty disappointed for it to have ended the way it did?
Yeah, I am. And certainly there was no guarantee that we would have won that game. New Zealand were only 2 down, and they had some fairly good players to come. But I just felt that we certainly had the upper hand. So it was really disappointing to have an incomplete game. When I thought that apart from the start, we had batted well. I thought we showed a lot of intensity through our batting, and I think we followed that up with the ball and in the field. So yeah, it was a good brand, and it was disappointing not to finish it.
Earlier this year, Sri Lankan fast bowlers sort of broke through the top order in the ODI series in Australia. Has that put a little bit of extra pressure on that top order, especially with David Warner now unavailable?
Look, there's pressure every time they play international cricket, so it wouldn't put any more pressure on. But again, having played Sri Lanka so much over the last couple of months, the guys know exactly what to expect.
Can I just ask? I know the other day after you played England, a couple of your guys were perhaps a little surprised by how quickly the England bowlers managed to get some reverse swing. Now I got some comments from Bob Willis saying that the ball change in England's game the other day was because an England player had been scratching the ball. The umpires had been tampering with it. Are you surprised to hear that, or perhaps not so surprised to hear those comments?
Oh look, I can't talk for what was going on. I actually didn't see the incident. The ball didn't reverse later in the game, but it would be remiss of me to comment on that. But I actually don't know what went down there.